All right, here we are again. It's time to turn the sign, flip the lights, unlock the door, and turn the music on. Here we are for another episode of Bottomless Bar. Tonight we're with just the original three, me, Kara, Joe. And how are you guys tonight?
Good. I think that that intro like sort of got me aroused a little bit.
Oh, you're welcome, Joe. You act like you
No, no,
don't like
no.
that
We're
stuff.
good. We're good. We're good, Joe. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Uh, it's I worked out right before we started to record to try to like calm my brain, to center myself a little bit, so I don't get a case of the dum dums like I have in
Mm-hmm.
previous episodes. And also, thank you for asking. One of the things before we get into the meat of the whole thing, this whatever, I just want to say about old fashions because I've recently run into a bad old fashioned.
Okay.
I previously said, and in the past, on microphone, that there are no bad ones. Is that what I said? I said there are no wrong ones, but there are bad ones. And I just want to say if you are putting soda in your old fashioned, I mean like from a gun,
Yeah.
soda, something or whatever, that's if this
Nope.
is wrong, this is that. You're like you're right fucking there.
Wait,
Don't
where did
do
you
that.
get that at? Are you allowed to say?
I shouldn't because not everyone knows. Not everyone knows, and
They don't know?
apparently, yeah, I don't know. And it wasn't for me, so I didn't say anything. But that's a thing. That's a thing out there in the world. Sodas and old fashions. Don't fucking do it.
What kind of soda was it?
Or just soda from a bar gun.
Like soda water,
Oh,
Like,
right?
yeah, like soda water. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
exactly.
like
Yeah.
Pepsi,
Yeah. No, no, no,
Coca-Cola.
no, no, no. Yeah.
Sponsor us.
Right. um, yeah. So there are no wrong old fashions. That may have been a an overstatement. There are wrong old fashions.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing anything outside of spirit, bitters, sweetener, you're wrong.
Yeah.
You're wrong, and
Yeah.
you shouldn't be a bartender
Yeah, I guess I just don't understand the reasoning for it. I mean, like,
for the soda.
yeah, watering it down, giving it bubbles. I would never want bubbles.
No, it's a spirit cocktail. It should be. You should taste the spirit.
Yeah.
That's yeah. I don't. Yeah, I didn't get it, but I was afraid that, maybe this person had heard the podcast, they probably hadn't, and said, "Well, I'm doing great then. This is my version of an old fashioned." And that's not it's just not
In
the fucking case, okay? And you're not
in your
great.
in your fantasy world, you were like, "Oh, man." They're like, "I'm really gonna spice up this guy's life. He's gonna love it so much, he's gonna talk about it OTP." And now you're shitting
Right,
all over him.
right, right. If it was for me, then, I probably would have said something. I try not to like send shit back to service people and
Mhm.
be that guy, right? But in that case, I would have been like, ugh, ugh.
Take your bullshit old fashioned and stuff it in a sack.
I don't, yeah. Yeah. So, uh, other than that, it's been a relatively sedate week. I worked 5 days last week. I don't know if I told you guys that.
No.
Yeah, I worked 5 days, which other bartenders will know. That's a fucking lot of
Mhm.
bartending. I mean,
Did you work a party or something, or you're just picking up shifts?
yeah, I had an opportunity. It was really nice last week, and I had an opportunity to pick up on a nice day, a patio day, and I
Uh-huh.
killed it, right? But it was at great cost. It was it
Right.
was a great cost. By the time that was on a Wednesday, by the time I got to Sunday, I was on the edge, and it may have been coming through a little bit in my service, and I mean just a little bit. And
Uh-huh.
you know, people ask you for certain things, and the place where I work, where you used to work,
Uh-huh.
it gets hard not to not to to put a happy face on it all.
Uh-huh. And I
It's
remember it all very well, your reaction to something like that you don't want to make. You go,
yeah,
I hope that gets picked up. It's
that's
a
me being
Can you do
polite.
it? Can you do it for the listeners?
Okay,
It's not
that's sarcastic.
it's the heaviest breath you've ever witnessed in your entire life.
It's so fucking passive aggressive. I'm like, you're gonna wear that.
Oh man.
Oh, and also there was this guy. So at the end of a 5-day work week for a bartender, things just are magnified a bit. There was a guy. There was a guy. He this is a really tall guy, but he was the kind of guy that had to just qualify himself endlessly. He was really tall,
Mhm.
and he was having a conversation with people at the bar, and he said, "I'm 6'5", as if you couldn't tell when he stood up. Like
Good for
everyone
you,
knew he
bud.
was 6'5". Yeah, exactly, exactly. And at the time when he was there, there was also, and this is how you know that I'm really like I've worked too much. There was a child crying in the bar while this guy was there, and he stood up and was like, "Isn't that the worst sound in the world?" Talk like out loud. Everyone in the place heard him. Everyone heard him because he was so
Whoa.
tall. His
Uh-huh.
his voice carried over everyone's heads. There was nothing. He was in that perfect zone where
Wait, do you
sound
have
just
any
traveled freely. And
just
I was pissed off that he said that. And but as we've discussed on previous episodes, I hate your fucking kids.
Yeah, he's not wrong, but also like everything it depends on who the person is saying it, you know? Like no sorry sir, you're an awful human being also. You can't say things like that. I'm only allowed to say that. Just out of curiosity, do you happen to know the age of the man or his name?
Um, I do know his name. He's not anyone that came in there when you and I worked together.
Is he like
He's
my
he's
age?
he's relatively new. No, he's like my age.
Okay.
Maybe older, but I can't really tell. Like I haven't aged at the same rate as everyone else apparently, and
Mhm.
uh, he could be 38, but he's all gray. Um,
Okay.
he at this
That
point,
answers my question.
right? Yeah, he's all gray. Um, yeah, just super loud. But anyways, I was offended on behalf of this parent and her
Yeah.
loud, annoying child. That's how you know I'd worked way too much last week, like 4 days.
You're si- you're siding with the baby. That's how you know I'm delusional.
Hey, listen, buddy, babies cry, okay? That's I wouldn't say that under
Maybe
normal
if anyone ever loved you for once in your life and you were lucky enough to make a child, you would understand.
right. Anyways, yeah, so
Anyways,
that was my that was my week last week. I thought that was pretty interesting. But I
yeah,
on the flip side, I made a lot of money. Anyways,
that's
how was
good.
your week? Like,
That's
you,
why we go. That's why we go into work to make money. It's a beautiful
that's why
thing.
we go. That's why we go into work and make money. And if I had it another way,
Mhm.
I would just do this. I would have Bottomless Part podcast. I would have the Bottomless Murder podcast. I would have.
The
I would have.
bottomless dating love life podcast.
Yeah, the Bottomless Bottoms uh,
Mhm.
podcast. Yeah,
Bottomless
exactly.
bed.
Oh, yeah. But uh, another, I haven't. Joe, how many episodes has it been since I've made a butthole reference or joke?
2.
Exactly. Exactly.
I got
Wait,
excited when
how many?
my he said 2.
What?
2
Wait, what?
episodes. Number 2.
Oh, oh, since the second episode.
Deuce episodes. No, it's
Oh,
been 2 episodes
number
since.
2. Fuck me.
I
Fuck
just keep
me.
making poop and butt references, and
No,
apparently
that's
no
good.
one's getting
I'm
it.
sorry. No, I didn't pick it up. I apologize. My
You should have worked out a little bit longer, I guess. Maybe the
or
wheels would have been
less
turning.
or at all. I think my as I've aged, my brain is turning. It's getting as smooth as my butthole is. Very
Yeah,
smooth. So so
dried out.
I was really proud of that one. I had to fit it in there somewhere. Anyways,
Anyways, thanks for asking, Joe. I had a good weekend too.
yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about it. You don't work in the service industry anymore, so you get to go out on the weekends.
Yeah, I'm retired bartender. Served many years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I try to go out and spend money on the weekends instead of make it like I
Mm.
used to, like the good old days. So I went out Saturday. Actually, this is funny. I've got two funny tequila stories that I think you'll appreciate. Okay, so I hope all my
Any of
friends are
them
listening
involve.
to this episode because all my friends love to hear my stories, especially when I tell them extra longly. One of my good friends growing up used to say that, you know how people are like, long story short. She's like, any story Kara tells is short story long. Like, she could get right to the point,
Well,
but she
that's your
doesn't.
catchphrase, isn't it?
Yeah.
Short story long.
um, so I went to this Mexican place, like modern Mexican. It was poppin', really busy. We My friend and I, we put our names on like a wait list, and then when we got there, we just like sat at the bar because I much prefer sitting at the bar anywhere.
Yeah,
Um,
same.
and whatever. So their cocktails were, all tequila variations. They had like margarita flights, um, yada yada
Oof.
yada. No good.
Well, as a bartender, how would you feel about a margarita flight?
Oh, not good. But I guess I could give you 3 tequila stories since you brought that up.
Well,
Just
keep going here.
tack it
Yeah.
on. Okay, so we go to this place, and my first cocktail I got was really good. Um,
Do you remember what it was called? I heard you
no,
got
but
really drunk this night.
I did. I was hungover. Um, it was like fresh muddled watermelon. There was some basil in it, tequila. It was really good. It wasn't like I thought it was going to be sort of like slushy-y, but it wasn't. It was good. It was
Mm,
fresh. And then for my second drink, I was like, I don't want. I was like, I literally just want tequila. I want Cointreau or fucking Grand Marnier if you got it. I want some lime juice. I didn't need any like, sugar, put some tahini on the rim. I'm a happy camper. And the guy was
sure.
like, people very rarely do this. And so I was pleased that he was happy to make me whatever I wanted. And I guess maybe I should have told my stories in another order, but because they would have made more sense to why I'm saying this. But so whatever, it was awesome. It was so good, really good margarita. He's like, what tequila do you want? I said Espolón. The guy charged me like $10 for these margaritas all night. Like, just, nice
That's not
guy.
terrible.
No. So this place, the bartenders, I kid you not, were doing shots like every 15 minutes. Every 15 minutes, everyone, like the servers, the bartenders, they all got together. They poured a shot of tequila, ripped it, went back to their job. And I was like, it was like probably the third time I saw it that I looked over at my friend and I was like, these guys are fucked up, man. They've taken like 4 shots since we've been here.
Not necessarily.
What?
They may not have been fucked up. I mean,
Well, whatever. Like, what if they did that since they opened? We got there at
Yeah,
8 o'clock.
they may have been a little buzzed. There was a time in the not too distant past where I was, for all intents and purposes, abusing alcohol, and
Hmm.
five drinks, I would barely be feeling it.
Yeah.
Anyways,
So I didn't have a, I should say I don't have a problem with what they were doing. It
oh,
got to a
okay, fair
point where
enough.
I looked at my friend and I said, "We got to get in on this next one." And so they overheard us and they poured us a shot the next time. And like everyone at the bar, like there's maybe 6, 7 seats at the bar. They poured everyone at the bar a shot. They all took a
Holy shit!
shot. And then so whatever, we're having a good time. We're staying. I have another margarita. I have another margarita. And then the bartender comes over and he's like, what do you say, ladies? You ready for another shot? And we were like, yup. He's like, what tequila do you want? And my friend liked it's called Suavecito. And she asked for that. He poured us whatever the fuck we wanted. Didn't charge us for anything. He didn't charge us for I'm sorry, he didn't charge us for any of the shots.
Mm.
Just unbelievable. So that story is important because last week we went to a Mexican restaurant. We eat a lot of Mexican food. I consume a lot of tequila.
Listen,
And
I absolutely love Mexican food. Like you'll never like even like Tex-Mex, which I wouldn't. That's its own thing
mhm,
tangentially, but
mhm. Every time you say
uh,
tangentially, I take a shot.
well, you better fucking get the bottle on the table then, because
All right, so
anyways,
we go to this traditional
I'm
Mexican
sorry,
place.
Carl.
Yeah,
How was
it's
the
okay.
food? Did you eat while you were
It
there?
was excellent. We got
Is it
we both
was it
got tacos.
Tex-Mex or was it like authentic or was it like a blend?
I would say it was a blend. Um,
Okay,
the food tasted very authentic. You could just tell the ingredients. Nothing was over the top fancy. I got street tacos. It was like ground beef, chorizo, pineapple, cilantro, onions. Just like corn tortillas.
sure.
Really, like
Yeah,
really good, really
fresh.
fresh. My friend got carnitas. Um, it was good. I will admit that I had a really nice time. The place looked a lot different than it was. I could be a little, shall we say, not bougie, just like I'm very particular where I want to spend my money. Um,
Oh,
anyways,
yeah,
okay, so
I wouldn't say bougie, but yeah, go ahead, I'm sorry.
so last week we go to this Mexican restaurant near my hometown. Like, traditional, how would you say, like, just like
Authentic.
authentic Mexican. It's one of those places that they've got it's one of those places that's got, they've got like all this tequila. So you're like, okay, I order my margarita. I see that their standard margarita has Jose Cuervo. I said, I don't want Jose
Eh,
Cuervo. I
eh.
said, can you, so it's like, I think it was like a golden margarita, but it was just like Jose Cuervo, triple sec, lime,
I
something
hate it
else.
already.
So I
Grand Marnier.
said, I don't want Jose Cuervo. I'll take, just like this regular margarita, but I want Espolón. Do you have Espolón? And she goes, yeah. And I said, can I substitute it? The girl's like, yeah, 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 no problem. So the bill comes. She charged us. The
Is this
margarita
the
was
same
12.
night?
No, 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 no. It was a different weekend.
Oh, sorry.
The bill, the bill comes and she charged us 12.99 for the margarita, okay, and then 9.99 for the Espolón.
Holy shit.
So
It was a
mind you,
$24 fucking margarita?
so right, so mind you, I wasn't served 4 ounces of tequila in one glass. They didn't serve me the Jose Cuervo. She claimed that she put the Espolón in, but I'm no tequila expert, but it didn't really taste like it. But she charged me for both. And I was like, you can't. So, whatever. Joe, my hero, went up and got a little sassy with the girl. She was definitely trying to like pull one over on us. And it's like, you can it's like fucking like ordering a Jack and Coke, you know? And I'm like, okay, instead of Jack Daniels, I want 4 roses or whatever,
And they charge you for the
Woodford.
jack.
And they charge you
Yeah.
for both. Like, you can't charge me for something that I'm not consuming.
No.
So then
Yeah.
she goes, well, I could give you the Espolon if you want to take it home with you. She goes, we could do that now since COVID. And it's like, no, lady, that's not the point. That's not what's happening here. So anyway, she ended up, Joe got a little heated with her. She ended up giving us like a $3 discount on the
That's it?
$24 margarita.
That's it?
Yeah, it was outrageous. So never again. It
Well,
just like
does that
reminded me of the one time like you like sent us something in the group text about something you read on Reddit about this guy that worked at a Mexican restaurant, and he knew for a fact that customers would come in and order, let's just say for example,
Mm,
Espolón, and he's like he knows that they don't have Espolón, but they're like, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, we have Espolón. We went one time. We went to, I should know better. One time we went to the same exact place, and Joe, it was like whatever. It was during COVID. We go there, and he just ordered Casamigos like on the rocks, and the guy's like, "Oh yeah, we've got Casamigos," and I'm like, I went to the bathroom, and I was like looking at their bar. I'm like, I don't see no Casamigos, you know. And he served him whatever the fuck he served him, but he still charged like $13 or something for a pour of tequila.
Did it say Casamigos on the bill?
Can't remember.
I think it just said like tequila or
Yeah.
something. Like
Ooh.
they don't have it in their POS system.
Ooh.
So that, I mean, this could bring up a whole nother tangent of just like, you know, people, that's what I fucking say all the time. I'm trying to get so much better about not being an obnoxious human being. I say, you know, it's one word, YAKNO, you know. Um,
It's YANO.
yeah. Um, that could be a whole nother tangent of like, you know, fuck, especially people that don't know anything, people that have no palate, they're just ordering something because someone recommended it or whatever the case may be, and charging people out the wazoo.
Well, this place just sounds fucking horrible. I'm surprised that you went back. I don't want to say that. That's inflammatory and reactionary, but you went back a second time, which is reasonable, and then you had a similar experience.
Mhm.
They sound like bad actors, right?
Shady
And I would
characters.
and
The food is delicious.
What the fuck is happening?
we just keep delish.
The food is
Delish.
delicious. Did you have a stroke
I think
halfway
so.
through that? My God, I
I'm so glad. I'm so glad I'm not the only one that gets a case of the dum dums on the
can't.
when we're recording. It's great. I absolutely love it.
We're
Um,
all dum dums together.
yes. Uh, but this place, I have so many questions.
I know.
How do you? Honestly, it just sounds like it's corrupt. It
Hmm.
just sounds terrible. And does this, to harken back to another episode, a previous episode, does this warrant a review from you? Have
Yeah.
you?
No, I haven't. Um, it was funny too because we were there with my dad and a couple my uncles. They're all older and they don't. My dad's like harping on me. He goes, "Why do you always gotta be fancy? Why do you gotta get something fancy?" I'm like, "Dad, it's a good tequila. It's reasonably priced, and if they offer it, then why the fuck shouldn't I order it? You know." The girl made a promise at the table that she would make a substitution, and then she decided to change her mind. And here's my thing, you know damn well that she's not pocketing that money, you know? It's not like she took that $9 that she charged me for this alcohol that I didn't drink and she stuffed it in her pocket.
Well, what if she did? What if she goes back to her manager? And this could be far fetched, but what if she goes back to her manager at the end of the night and says, "Oops, I misrang this,"
Yeah.
and then they void it off the bill, and then she keeps it in her pocket.
Yeah, it's
That's
possible. I
that's
don't think
entirely
she's that
possible,
savvy.
and I've seen shit like that before. And honestly, your run up to this, like to this uh, far fetched idea, it
Mhm.
sounds familiar. I've worked with people that have done shit like this before in the past, where they will, someone asks for something that's a slight upcharge, they'll give them, you know, the something else, double charge them, whatever, and then
Yeah.
say,
But it's
"Oops,"
like you
and
can't
then
do
pocket the
that.
difference.
You can't do
Well, you
that. Like, you should the right thing to do would have been for her to say at the time that I
take it off
ordered
the
the
fucking
drink.
bill.
What's that?
Take it off the fucking bill.
Well, take it off the bill, but also when I ordered it, she should have said, "Of course I can do that for you, but it's going to cost you more money. It's gonna be an upcharge. It's gonna be this, it's gonna be that."
Is that
'Cause
assumed? Isn't that assumed?
I guess when I use the words, "Can I substitute something?" Like, uh, a tomato for a tomato,
Yeah, fair enough.
if you will. Like, I don't, I know Espelon's reasonably priced. I guess I should have known that it's like a couple more dollars than um
It's probably like 30% more than Cuervo, just
okay, well
retail.
fuck me then. But I'm just trying to have a good time, spend my hard-earned money, and I got fucked for it, so
Yeah, no, I don't think
What a
that you're in the
sensitive
wrong.
couple.
I mean, I don't think that you're in the wrong for that. And maybe to contradict a past self or past episode, maybe this is an opportunity for you to voice your concerns with management. Maybe it's an opportunity for you to look up the establishment and make a review.
it would be
You know,
funny to I should do that for research for the pod. I should look up and see if they have like similar people have similar experiences. I mean, if I've gone there and that's happened to me twice, you have to believe that
yeah.
someone else has had a similar experience.
Well, and what's the fucking first rule of of bottomless bar, right? Like it's don't fuck with the money, right?
Yeah.
And what on the bartender code of ethics, don't
Yeah.
fuck with my money. That goes for the
Mhm.
business, it goes for the customer, it goes for the staff, it goes for everyone. Just don't fuck with your money. You're breaking the first rule. That is the original sin in the service industry, in my opinion.
Mhm.
So so will you go back a third time?
No, we made a deal with ourselves. There's so many other good places. Um I just like this place cuz it's different, it's small, it's cozy. The food is really good, but they're
Were they busy?
shysters.
Were they
No, we
busy
were
when
the
you
only
were there?
people there. We were the only people there.
That's Was it the same with your first visit? Was it the same? Were you guys was the place dead?
It was busy the last time we were there.
Maybe they're under the gun a little bit.
Yeah. But
You know?
that doesn't make it right for you to overcharge me.
No, it doesn't. Because that's not how you get people to come back,
Right.
right? There's and honestly, for people that haven't been in the service industry, if you're going out and this happens with you, you carry this around with you. You become hyper aware, right? And this inevitably comes off it on other people that may have made an honest mistake,
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
know? Yeah. So,
All right,
yeah.
one more
No,
question for you before
yeah.
I need
Hit
another
me.
drink. How do you feel about pre-batched cocktails?
I think they can be really good, honestly. And
Okay.
I think in a busy bar, uh, they're a great vehicle, especially for things like, fucking happy hour, for instance, right? You
Mhm.
pre-batch it. And this is, we had this whole other episode planned, which we like scrapped at the last minute or whatever. And this is kind of tangentially related to that. Take a shot. Um, but uh, setting up your staff. I think batched cocktails is a way for management to set their staff up for success.
Mhm.
Right. That's one of the things that you can do to to you can make a quality cocktail at a fair price for like happy hour or something like that, for instance,
Mhm.
and and create logistics infrastructure that allows your staff to turn this over quick, which in my mind hits all needs, right? Uh, if you're offering a discount, the point is to get people in the door. You entice them with the discount. You want to retain them, right? So if it's done well, you retain them, and you're not putting your staff under any undue stress, which leads to the experience. So you're kind of checking all boxes in my mind. I love batch cocktails. Is there a reason that you asked that?
There's always a reason. Um, well, it's something that I've been meaning to ask you for a long time. I had an experience that also involved margarita flights at another establishment. But
Sure.
do like how do you feel about them as a consumer? Do you if you went to a bar and it's fuck, there I go again. You go to a bar, for example, and there's a pre-batched
Wait,
cocktail.
wait, wait. Should I be taking a shot every time you say
I guess so. We're just like setting ourselves up for disaster here.
Fucking
Um,
on the floor, puking,
yeah.
shitting ourselves by, by the end of the episode. There's
For
fucking
example,
sirens in the background.
for
I'm
example,
sorry.
Joseph, you go to an establishment. It's like, let's say it's date night, you're happy to spend some money, and for the same cost, there is for example, pre-batched old fashioned, or I don't know, is this a good example? A pre-batched old fashioned or a regular, freshly made old fashioned. Which would you
Wait,
order?
which one am I choosing
Mm-hmm.
for the same price?
Sure.
No difference in ingredients.
Let's say the one that's pre-batched is this is good. This is a stupid fucking example. Um,
Just tell your story.
We'll just keep going.
no.
Follow it through. Follow it through.
Well, I guess I just want to know because there's a lot of times when you go to a restaurant, and I guess maybe it's not that there's Harvest, for example, in Clintonville had a pre-batched, I believe it was old fashioned, and they
Sure.
would come over. They put it in a little bottle. It was like this little sealed bottle, and they gave you a glass with a cube, and you poured it on and you drank it. Would you be
Okay, that
likely to
sounds good.
order something like that? And it's $14.
Um, well, there's a lot of nuance with that for me. My perspective,
The spirit is Maker's Mark.
no, I'm not a fan of Maker's Mark in an old fashioned,
That
just
is
because
what
it's
they used to have in that one. But I
yeah.
guess my point is I guess I'm a little fucking snooty and I spent all that time behind the bar with my what'd you say when my arms are? My frail arms.
Brittle.
Brittle. My brittle little
Dainty. I
body.
said dainty, which I think is way more polite.
My dainty arms, shaking cocktails, working up a sweat for the public. And you go to these places now and I have no problem with there's there's a place that I like a lot and I have no problem with them having a couple things in a tap, couple of ingredients, but the whole thing, okay, here it goes. We went to this it's another Mexican place. New Mexican place that I have not yet mentioned. Um very well known, really good food. Um and they're sort of known. They have like flights. They've got a guacamole flight, really good, like all these different unique kinds of guacamoles. They've got a margarita flight, and they've got fucking eight or so margaritas. You pick which ones you want. You get three. So I was excited. We hadn't been there in a really long time. It was when we first moved to Cleveland. I said, I'm gonna fucking get the margarita flight. I'm gonna drink all three of them by myself, and I'm
You
gonna
got the
get
margarita flight?
buzzed. I got the margarita flight.
How
This
was it?
motherfucker, he walks back with the margarita flight in about 30 seconds. And I said, Pardon? How did you do that
Mhm.
so quickly? And they've got all of their margaritas in these clear fucking jugs, almost like you'd keep like the cleaner to mop the floor with. That's what it looked like to me. We sat at the
Ooh.
bar, and you just soon as I saw the flight and it came up so quickly, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? I didn't see no shaking, no arms shaking, no brittle arms. Hang on. And we're sitting at the bar, and I see the whole inside of the bar is just lined with these jugs. And I'm like, what the fuck? I was so pissed off. I like drank it. I mean, the booze and everything is in this bottle.
Yeah.
And I drank it quickly, and I fucking got a beer for my next drink because I was so pissed off about it.
Well, wait. How was the flight?
Not good.
Okay. Well, then I think that smacks of gimmick to me,
It
and I
used to
hate.
be really fresh ingredients, you know? Fuck. Really fresh ingredients. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? And
you know.
it was a treat. It was like something. It's not cheap. It's something that you would order to treat yourself, and it fucking pissed me off because it just tasted sweet and thrown together. No,
Yeah. Can I unpack this a little bit, please?
yeah, go ahead.
So this goes to my earlier point about proper infrastructure, and this is another through line for me, at least, with this whole fucking podcast thing. Right? It's like setting your staff up to succeed. Uh, it sounds like they were failing on execution, and that's ultimately a management problem.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so that's one thing. The other thing would be I automatically just turn my nose up at gimmicks. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and you know what gimmicks are, right? Like you can smell them a mile away. Flights are a
Mm-hmm.
fucking gimmick to me. Flight, whatever. Like pick a thing, and if it's in a flight, I'm not interested.
Mm-hmm.
That is not to say that it can't be done well. And in regards to batched cocktails, I'm a big fan, but if management cannot follow through and make sure that they are executing with consistency, then you are defeating the point of the gimmick.
Yeah.
The gimmick is it's the wow factor, right? It is you know the the discount, the
Yeah.
whatever, right? That's the pizzazz. It's the fucking Salt Bay bullshit
Yeah.
that right
I could
that
get
like
the taste
gets
of
people
three
to
for the
buy
price of
stuff.
one. Yeah.
Right. And if you can't follow through and deliver a quality product, then that's ultimately a failure of management. Um, I'm
Yeah.
I'm a fan of batch cocktails, but they need to be done properly. And what happens with batch cocktails is that they will take a margarita, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
You've got you've got things of different viscosity in there. You have the spirit, you have the sugar, you have the juice. And this shit matters. And the reason you shake it isn't just to chill it, it's also to emulsify this thing. And emulsifications, if people aren't aware out there, are where you're taking two things that normally wouldn't mix together, like oil and water or oil and vinegar, for instance, and you're breaking up the each ingredient in such small increments into such small increments that they have no choice but to congeal and be one contiguous thing, if that makes any sense. So
Mhm.
that when we shake cocktails, that's what we're doing. That we're chilling it, one, two, we're emulsifying those things. So if you have a batched cocktail like a margarita and it's just sitting, and it sounds like if these are just like plastic jugs or whatever, which is
Mhm.
unappealing. You don't want to see your cocktail poured out of a plastic fucking
Nope.
jug. And that's a failure of execution,
Mhm.
right? If they're just sitting back there, so you make them all on Monday, right? By Tuesday night, these things are starting to stratify.
Well,
Those
there
little molecules of each ingredient are finding each other, and they're
yeah.
forming, like attracts like in this case. And if you're not shaking it up, if so this that's a failure of management. But and that's back to like, right, you know, logistics and execution.
Yeah,
Uh,
and I had several thoughts when I saw it. I mean, so it's I guess to paint a better picture, there's no way that the ingredients were fresh. I think they were at one time before they were pre-batched, but they were almost like a syrup. Um
mm,
and they're in these jugs with labels on them, like they're be almost like they would had been made in a factory somewhere. This place has a couple locations, so I'm guessing they're doing it all across the business. It's a very popular place. They're like years ago, the not I'm not saying to this I'm not saying this to excite you, but years ago their their original establishment was on Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives with Guy Fieri, and they sort of blew up after that. And so whatever, it's a really busy place. It's hard to get a reservation. Um, and that just puts a bad taste in my mouth. I told all my friends about it, and they're like pissed the fuck off. They're like, I've never sat at the bar there. If you don't sit at the bar, you might not notice it, or if you don't have a
yeah,
palate for
yeah.
how something should taste fresh, you're not going to notice it. Um, I also had a thought that because of COVID, like let's say, I mean, maybe they stayed open and or whatever, they opened back up and business was crazy. People were ordering to go margaritas, they couldn't keep up, and that helped them. I had that thought. But I mean, people are ordering pitchers, and
Mm-hmm.
just taking the whole fucking glass pitcher, stuffing it with ice. They took the jug, glug 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 glug, have a nice life. And that's icky
Yeah,
to me. And to
yeah,
answer your question,
yeah.
because I know you're going to ask it, will I go back? I
Will
will go
you?
back. I will go back because their food's really fucking good. But here's what. I'm going to order something. I'll either just order like a beer, I'll order just like a pour of tequila, or I'm going to order something off menu. I'm going to
Yeah,
order like, I'm going to say, "Sir, I need you to shake the shit out of this. And I need you to
yeah,
like it."
yeah, yeah, yeah. Fair enough. Um, yeah, I tend to side with restaurants when I read like negative reviews and shit like that,
Mhm.
just because I've been there for so long. But it sounds like in this case that they're kind of failing logistically, and that's a management issue.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Anyways, I have now drained my second drink. It is empty. It is only froth. It's like
Ditto.
it looks. It's not appealing at this point. But I think it's I think it's time
It
for a
is
drink break.
time.
What do
We're
you say?
due.
All
We're
right,
due
we're
for
gonna
it, yeah.
little drink break. Come back, ramble more. Oh, so here we yeah. Thank you, Carl. Here we are again, back from drink break, and this is one of my favorite drinks that we're drinking. This is a
Is it really?
fun one. Yeah, yeah, it is, and I don't drink it very often. So and I guess we had this whole other episode in mind, and I said that earlier, and I I play word associations with myself when trying I have in the past, but trying to come up with a drink, and with the previous episode that we had in mind, I just came up with sour,
Okay.
so that led me to whiskey sour. We haven't done a whiskey sour. It's a classic cocktail. It's
Mhm.
delicious. Uh, I think a lot of people n- they know about it, but they don't know because it's been perverted in the last like 40, 50 years. People don't really know what this drink can actually be when it is in full bloom, so to speak.
Yeah, I think like when I was younger, I just assumed it was whiskey and like a sour mix,
Mm,
which I
mm.
guess maybe some places it might be.
And that's and it, can you tell a difference between the whiskey sours that you're drinking now as an adult and the whiskey sours that you perhaps drank underage?
Oh, yes. Big difference.
Do you prefer one over the other?
Yeah, the way that we, not to spoil it for our listeners, but the way that we made this with the first time, at least I changed mine up the second time, but with egg whites. I love an egg white cocktail. Um, I tend to
Mm.
always order it if it's on a menu somewhere. Um, but this is very well balanced. It's really nice, and the I would never. I don't think I would ever think to order a whiskey sour out at a bar. And I think that we keep doing this. We keep expanding my palate with every episode. I'm like, yeah, this is good. I could drink this.
Well, that's
Um,
part of it. That's part of this whole thing, right?
this
Is
experiment.
well, it's not so much experiment because this one's tried and true, right? Like it's
I'm just
proven,
teasing you.
but it is to, in my mind at least, and correct me if I'm wrong if it's different for you, but it is to shed light on this craft because I'm a wannabe craftsman. But anyways, you were saying like
Yeah, no, it's
Mhm.
it's really good, and it's not what I recalled. I recalled not nothing with egg whites. Maybe
Mm,
like a shitty maraschino cherry.
cherry, yeah, that happens a lot. I've done that. I've done that in the past. Sure.
So yeah, this I was pleasantly surprised by it. But go ahead and walk them through what it is for
Yes.
those that don't know.
Yeah. So for people that don't know, well, I guess let me talk about what you see a lot in like high volume bars. First, you will see a someone, a bartender, will put a glass full of ice up on a bar. They'll pour whiskey over the ice,
Hmm.
and then they'll sour mix from a gun or pre-made sour mix in some type of plastic and or glass container, and then they'll like splash soda and cherry on top, and that's
Hmm.
a whiskey sour to them. And that was my first experience with the whiskey sour, and it's okay. It's not terrible.
What's
It's okay.
exactly in the sour mix? I mean, do you have any idea what makes up the sour mix? Is that a stupid question?
No, I think it's literally just citric acid, water, and sugar.
Okay.
Some places will make a sour mix, and this I would assume they're trying to be an intermediary between the more quote unquote bougie places and the volume places. That they may have a foot in both disciplines, if you will.
Hmm.
But what a whiskey sour actually is, and egg white is optional, but it's 2 ounces of bourbon. It's an ounce of egg white, 3/4 of an ounce of your preferred citrus juice. Tonight I had a bunch of leftover citrus. from previous episodes. I had lime, I had grapefruit. The first one I made was with grapefruit. It was really
Mhm.
good. The second one I made was with lime. This one's now with lemon. It's, three quarters
Interesting.
of an ounce or an ounce of your citrus. Uh, and then if you shake it with an egg white, you serve it up. Egg white optional. You shake it because it's a juice cocktail. You want to emulsify those things. Serve it over a big cube, which I did tonight. Um, the first one, I guess, with the egg white, I kind of fucked up a bit, and not everyone uh, is familiar with separating yolks from the egg whites, and it's been a while since I've done it, and I dropped the yolk in there, and I just decided to shake it up anyways, and it was completely fine. Uh, a little thicker, and then it was a little thicker than what I
Little
would have.
salty.
It was great. I mean, it was great. But I actually, oddly enough, I preferred it over the second one I had, which was just the egg white.
No
The
way.
Yeah, the second one was way more. It had this astringency at the end, like this. It came on really citrusy at the back without the egg yolk.
Mhm.
And it could be because I switched citruses as well.
Mhm.
Uh, but yeah, that was the difference. I preferred it. I actually preferred it with the egg yolk. It was way thicker, super creamy. Great mouthfeel. But that's what a whiskey sour actually is. And I guess it dates back. I'm jumping all over the place here because I've already had two of these, and they're stiff. Wouldn't you say,
Yeah, they are.
Carl? This it's 170-year-old drink,
Mhm.
something like that, and I think it stood the test of time, and it deserves to come back, and people deserve to experience it for what it actually is. And now I'm drinking it. I'm on my third. Now I'm drinking it on the rocks with the lemon wheel as a garnish, and it's it's just as good as the first two. So
Yeah.
yeah. Any more to add to that, Carl?
Well, I was just gonna say, so I mean because the first one that I made with the egg white, I didn't do the egg whites second time. You shake all the just for our listeners, you shake it all
Oh
dry,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, 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 yeah.
And then
Explain what a dry shake is.
so it's you mix all of your ingredients. So for this cocktail, it was the bourbon, simple syrup, or I used demerara, pardon me, because I made some a while back. Um, so we used Four Roses, demerara. I used lemon juice, um, and then the egg white, and no ice. You literally just like take those ingredients in your shaker and you shake it up like about 30 seconds. Is that correct?
Yeah, you got to shake it hard. Yeah, yeah.
And then you add some ice and you shake it again briefly just to sort of chill the liquids. And then I poured it into a coupe and did a couple dashes of Ango on top.
Did you taste the Ango when you did that?
Not really.
Yeah, same,
Like you
same.
could smell
It's
it.
more of a decorative thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it looks cool. Like I was telling you, I put a couple of dashes on, and then I took my like skewer and I made some lines in it. And it looked cool. Like I mean, they do it at nice cocktail bars or like even coffee shops with the stuff on top, whatever the hell it is. Uh, I don't know. I'm not a barista. Foam. Um,
Fun. Thanks, Joe.
But no, but are there cocktails? Because I feel like I've gotten a lot. I mean, like I said, I like to order egg white cocktails. Like, so Bottle Shop, for example, one of my favorite places, has they have it's called Pink Panther, and it's gin. It's like a raspberry liqueur, um, egg whites. It's very fresh, really good. And I almost feel like they make the cocktail and then I could be completely wrong, and then they put the egg whites on top. Like they shake the egg whites separately from everything else and pour that on top. Because it's almost like a very like strict line of like liquor and then egg white on top. Is that a thing?
Yeah, it can be, but that's the hard way around. I think in a service situation, egg white cocktails are a real bitch, and so I never order them
Yeah, I'm that bitch.
when I'm out, only because I don't want to make the bartenders go through that. Every single bartender, when you have a fucking egg white cocktail on your menu, will groan when they see them. And
Mm-hmm.
I worked a place a couple years ago. We had an egg white cocktail, and it was delicious. It was a very, very good cocktail. It tasted like a boozy creamsicle, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as one, and they look gorgeous. This was like this golden, like brassy kind of thing. It was, Jack Daniels, orange juice, egg white, uh, this maple syrup, but like diluted, right, for like bar use thing that we did. It was really, really, really good. Anyways, as soon as one went out for brunch, I knew I was getting 25 more after that. And you can't batch them. So you can't do like more than one,
Right.
right, in a tin at a time. So you're just like, so let me ask you this. I'm going to sidetrack myself. Did your arm get tired? Did your arms get tired when you were
Yeah,
shaking the
I
first one at all?
literally like I had just showered and I was like,
Your
why the
weak,
fuck?
feminine, girly arms.
Yeah. I was like, why the fuck did I do this to myself? Why did I shower before this experience?
Mm, yeah, yeah.
It was
Um,
intense. You would think because I mean, I'm shaking it hard, right? Because I'm trying to get it like frothy. But
Calm down, Joe.
but yeah, it was a workout, needless to say.
Yeah, but they are delicious. Everyone should have one. They're pretty easy to make at home, right? You
Mm-hmm.
just add all the ingredients. You already said this. I apologize, but you add all the ingredients
Mm-hmm.
with your egg white. Shake the shit out of it without ice. Add ice, and strain it up. But I guess in the case of this, don't add the egg white. Just pour it over a big cube, and it's just as good.
Yeah, I like it.
Um,
This honestly, it tastes a lot like well, Silver Dollar Pony, I was gonna say.
mm,
I think
mm.
just because of the bourbon, the citrus, it's everything. I'm just missing my what you call it? Aperol.
Yeah. Well, this is a 3 ingredient drink. This is another fucking classic, right? It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's super easy with the fresh ingredients. It's great in the summer. You get to taste the bourbon. It's citrusy. Yeah, it's super crushable. Easy drink and drink, as they say.
Super easy drink and drink.
um, so about like maybe I guess tangentially take a shot.
Yeah, tell us.
You had these when you were younger, right?
Whiskey sours. Yeah, I did. Yeah. I
So,
drank a lot of whiskey
maybe
sours.
did you really?
No, I'm just fucking with
Or
you.
you just forget?
Yeah, everyone knows I was up on that Burnett's and Red Bull and or Monster drank.
Yeah, the cherry burnett's. So underage drinking,
Yeah.
right? You've partaken in underage drinking. I'm pretty sure everyone in the continental United States has drank underage. Is it fair
Yeah.
to say that 90% of people have done that?
If you say that you didn't, then you're lying or dare dare I say you're a loser.
Or a Mormon? Those words are interchangeable.
Yeah.
Well, so I was never a big drinker when I was in high school. And before I go much further, I just want to say we do not condone it,
No, 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 no,
right?
no.
Stay in school, kids.
Lock your liquor cabinets up.
Or, yes, do that, parents. Lock your liquor cabinets. Don't drink and drive.
Throw away the key.
Be responsible.
Go to
But
school. study, work hard,
Be
pay
nice to
your
your parents.
bills.
Exactly. But I was not this kid, and any longtime listener of Bottomless Bar can probably already glean this.
Mm-hmm.
I had I guess, a devious system to get my alcohol because I couldn't buy it.
Oh
Did you
yes,
have? And we talked about it a little
you,
bit.
this is an
Did you?
incredible story.
Did you? Well, before I go into it, did you have any
So
Cherry Brunette
I
inspired stories?
you want to know how I got my drink? How I got my drink on?
Did you hang out outside of a convenience store and wait for random people to come by and ask them to buy you alcohol?
No, I'm not that ballsy. I was the youngest in my family, so my cousins were kind enough to buy me alcohol. When they wouldn't, I got their friends to do it. Um, and then I had a lot of fake IDs. And so not all at one time, they would get stolen or they would get taken away from me and then I'd get another one. And
You're like a criminal mastermind.
yeah, so I had a girl, like I went to high school with her and she was older than me obviously and I like went with her to the DMV and she said that she, lost her license and so I just like paid the fee and she gave me the old one and then she gave me I had all of her like uh they ask for what the fuck is it called? Like they want other identification, other cards that have like your face on it to prove your identity. So I had like she went to OU, so I had her OU like student ID and I had something else. So she gave me like three forms of identification. So like if someone
Holy
was like,
shit.
that's not you, and then I'm like, oh yeah, well then why do I have this? So then why do I have this? But she, she's a blonde girl. We look similar. And then it was a thing back then too to you would cut you would like fuck up the ID somehow. Like, you know how it's easy to like snap it in half or like whatever. Like, my dog chewed on it. I sat on it, in my wallet, like yada, yada, yada. So, like, the
When I was a
ID.
kid, you could pull them apart. It was literally a piece of paper, laminate between 2 pieces of laminate.
Yeah,
That's how old I am.
that would have
But you
been a
could pull
lot
them apart.
easier to have a fake
You could
ID.
pull them apart and put your own picture in. I never did this. This is just what I've seen
What?
on TV. But you could put your own picture in someone else's thing
You
or whatever
synced it.
and then just, like, glue it back together, you know?
You synced it on
That's just
TV.
what I heard. I seen it on
Okay.
Magnum PI. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so she had like snapped the ID in like two places. So it would like had like a break in it, and then they would put scotch tape over it because like, oh, pull me, I broke my ID and I taped it back together because I'm so poor, I can't afford another one. And so, but it would fuck up how your face looked right on the ID. So it was like a little like, okay, maybe this is her, maybe it's not. I don't know. I can't tell. There's like her nose isn't a clear picture. Um, where am I going with this? So I had a lot of fake IDs, got a lot of them
Don't do
stolen
this,
from
kids.
me. One time well, they still let me into the concert, but because I liked that was like a big thing of mine. That was a big place that I would underage drink at was at concerts. It was easy, to go to a place with big crowds and they just like look at your ID for a second. They let you in. You get to drink tall boy fucking
And
Budweisers all night
a
and live
bunch
the
of, like,
dream.
underpaid employees
Yeah, they don't
supposed to,
give a
like,
shit.
it was yeah, exactly, yeah.
But
Is this
one
something we should
time,
save?
what's
Is
that?
this is this something we should save? Are you feeling this or what?
I'm feeling it. I'm telling a good story.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry.
My God, the lack of respect. So, so I go to the House of Blues one time for a concert, and this is where I got my final ID stolen from me before I turned 21. And I opened up my wallet. I was like running late for the concert. My friend was already inside. And I opened up my wallet and they're like, asked me if I was drinking tonight. And I was like, yup. And they're like, okay, let me see your ID. And I gave them my fake one. but I had my wallet opened, like open
Oh,
face
so your
sandwich.
real one was
And
in
so they
there?
saw my underage one and they're like, "Oh yeah, what's that other one?" And I was like, "None of your business. Like, don't look at my shit." And they're like, "No, seriously. Like, who do you think you are? The police?" Whatever. Just I'm like again, like underage security person at the House of Blues. Whatever. So they stole my ID from me and couldn't drink that
Oh,
night.
no. That's not stolen.
What do you
That's
mean?
what
It wasn't
they're
yours.
required to do.
I don't know if they're required, but
I sort of feel like they probably shouldn't take it from you. They should just refuse to serve you. She could have just not given me a wristband.
yeah, also, do you remember when we had that meeting with liquor control,
Hmm.
Kara?
Yeah,
They said don't do that. That lady
don't take them
specifically said,
because it's
yeah,
like someone's
don't take that.
property.
Well, not only that, I one of the things I think they're worried about is uh you selling them again.
Me reselling it.
Yes.
Wouldn't
I
that be a
actually
tipsy turvy world?
talk about a criminal enterprise. Look at you now. But I actually knew a guy that did that at a campus bar years ago.
Damn,
He would
that's
he would take
genius.
fake he would take the fake ones and then he would resell them. So it was like a
That's
side hustle because
that's
he was making
genius.
like $5.25 an hour, fucking running the door, shitty campus bar.
Damn.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right, so tell
Well,
the kids, we don't have to do this all night long, but tell the kids your story because I think it's funny.
so
The
I
kids.
was a horrible I was a horrible child. I just want to preface this story by saying that, and I do not condone this. Also, being someone's father, I would
Mhm.
hate if there was a couple little shitbags like me and my friend in my house doing this. Anyways, uh, I me and I won't mention his name. Nice guy. He's married now, has a business, owns a house. But when we
Don't
were
ruin
in
his
high
life.
school,
He's a good guy.
when we were
Dan. Just
Dan,
kidding.
Chad, but me and Chad, good friends in high school, in our friend group, we were I don't know. I guess you could call us the fucking skaters, right? Did you have one of those? Did you have like a skater group in your high school?
Oh yeah. I'm
Yeah.
also
So,
in a relationship with one.
oh well, and this is right.
Well,
Tangentially, do a shot.
he used to be one tangentially.
But
I'm on the floor just so our
there's an
listeners
appeal.
know.
There's an appeal to the skater type. Anyways, me and my friend Chad, we were the two standouts, I guess you could say. And uh, we would entertain the affections of a young lady in order to basically one of us would make out with this girl while the other one went through her dad's liquor cabinet and, you know, just slide the plate glass door over the patio or what are those things called? That they're not patios, they're wood. Oh, the deck. The deck.
Yeah.
Set a couple bottles outside, right?
Uh-huh.
From dad's fucking liquor cabinet, you know.
Wait,
Shut the
okay.
door and then yeah, go
I have
ahead.
a
Wait,
question.
yes.
I have a
Did this ever happen to
question.
you, Carl?
I stole from people, yes. Is that what your question is? Have I broken into people's homes and stolen from them? Yes. No, I haven't. I haven't gone that
Oh
far.
shit.
I'm just kidding. Someone I went to high school is listening to this, like, that's where my wallet went.
Someone
I'm
missing
just,
an ID. Kind of looks like you.
I'm just fucking with you. But I have a question. So you, so this girl, this young lady, just
Mm.
what did she think that there was like a menage situation going on? Both of you went home with her. The other one of them someone's sitting out on the couch watching Looney Tunes, waiting until it's his turn.
Honestly, I can't speak to that, to be honest. What these young ladies, what their mindset was at that time. Uh, More often than not, it was just kind of a situation after school. You're like hanging
Oh,
out. You know, you like
you want to
you like
make out? It was a
you like
long
walk
day of
her
learning.
walk her home. You're like, hey, can I use your bathroom? Next thing you know, you're making out with one of these young ladies.
Wow.
The other guy's going through the liquor cabinet. Like,
Do you think that
so
the
I don't know.
girls at your school ever caught on and they were like, "Do you guys have you oh, Joe came over and he used my bathroom and next thing you know, I was
So this
having his
was in the
babies."
um maybe. I don't know, to be honest.
You didn't care.
I didn't care. I never gave it that much thought.
Mhm.
Uh yeah, so yeah, we it was basically my introduction to organized crime. How do we steal how do we steal alcohol from people that lawfully acquired it and for our own uses,
And
right?
that was just the beginning of his crimes, ladies and gentlemen.
Right, like the old mob guys back in the day. Where'd you get this carton of cigarettes? Oh, it fell off a truck. That was basically, you know, that was basically
Yeah.
us. Anyways, that's just fun.
I definitely yeah, that's really that's a classic story. Um,
Wait, do you know of any boys in your high school that did that?
no. No, I like all the boys, no one really drank. I mean, that's not true. People drank, but there were more people that smoked. There were a lot of, I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
kids like before and after school that smoked a lot. I one time one time like one of my connections wasn't falling through. So we drank burnett's, cherry burnett's, and then we also drank Smirnoff, raspberry Smirnoff specifically. And we would drink it with like whatever we could find, like orange juice, Sunny D. We had
Mhm,
it with Sunny D a
mhm.
lot. Um, but one time my connection fell through, and we had this night planned. We were gonna, my friends and I got together and we ate fucking. Um, I don't know. Did they have Marcos? You guys got Marcos where you're from? Have you?
Marco's Pizza?
Yeah.
It sounds familiar.
Okay, so
What you mean?
Marcos,
Wait, where I'm from or where I am?
either. I mean,
Uh, I don't think it's not an East Coast thing, but
okay,
it's a thing
so
down here, I believe, in Columbus. Yeah.
okay, there's a lot in northern Ohio, but Marco's Pizza does a taco pizza, and it's really good. And that was like our
Mhm.
thing. Like we'd get to, it was like Friday night. It's Friday night. Let's go. We're going to so and so's house. I'll bring the Smirnoff. You guys get the pizza. And it was just, and then we would like prank call boys all night. And
You'd prank call boys all night?
wait, the amount of
Oh, for
boys'
fuck's sake.
houses that I ordered
We
pizzas to in high school.
Oh, wait, you wouldn't call them and be like, "Hey, uh, is your refrigerator running?"
Okay, so I did a couple of things. One time, we like called this boy, and I was like, "Oh, my parents are gone. My parents are out of town. Do you want to come over?" And he's like, "It's late." And I'm like, "Just come over." And he rides his bike all the way across town. And then we're
Oh,
like in the picture
that's so
window, we open
gross.
the blinds and we're like, "Ah, you
Oh
loser."
my god.
You thought you were gonna get lucky. You son of a bitch. That was fucking classic. That was a classic crime.
Holy shit,
That
and
was
this is
awesome.
people ask me why I have trust issues.
Yeah. He's like, "All right, I'm
He
getting
fucking
lucky tonight."
rode across the metropolitan area of fucking Cleveland for you. That's the modern day equivalent of slaying a dragon,
Yeah, that's
and
a
you were
classic
like,
crime.
"Haha, bitch."
Uh-huh. The best part was, like, if you could just picture those, like, blinds that you, like, they're on that, like, beaded r rope, and they when someone's at them, they, like, sway. They're, like, horizontal.
Uh,
Okay.
well,
You know what
they're
I'm talking about?
vertical. Yeah, they're vertical blinds.
Up and down?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, they're vertical. Okay, so what was I getting at here? Okay, so one time my connection of the raspberry Smirnoff did not pan out. Are you gonna be okay?
Yeah. No, but go ahead. Don't let that stop you.
One time one time my raspberry Smirnoff connection wasn't panning out, and I was like, "Oh, like I my grandpa that drank the Muck and Duckies, like growing up, he had a full like in the basement, he had a full bar. Like really cool. Like he got this bar built and he had shelves of liquor on the walls,
Oh yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
probably like 15-person bar. Like it was huge. And
Sounds like a fucking G. Yeah.
yeah, it was really cool. And so the bar hadn't been used, I don't think, in most of my life. And it was like whatever, like when they were younger they used it a lot. And so all the bottles were like had a layer of dust on them, and they were like stuck to
Mm.
the wood. They were
This
so
sounds like
sticky.
ripe fruit.
Yeah, and so but there was in the cupboard, there was a bottle because everything on the shelves looked sketchy, but there in the cupboard, there was a bottle of triple sec, and I was like, "I don't know what this shit is, but it's gonna get us fucked up." And I took this triple sec, and I get to my friend's house, and they're like, "Kara, did you get the goods?" And I'm like, I put on my backpack, I'm like, "So I couldn't get the Smirnoff, but I did us one better. I got this, it's called triple sec." And we like all took a sip out of it. And we're like, "What the fuck is this?" And I'm like, "Maybe let's just mix it with something." So whatever. Like now that I'm an adult and I know what it is, it's like that's really embarrassing that I tried to
That's
pawn that off on my friends.
so. Wait, did you get smashed that night?
I think we did, yeah. We polished off that bottle. This
Yeah. What fucking? Why waste it? Right?
yeah. We already put our germs all over it. Might
Did
as well wash
did
it
your
down.
grandfather ever say anything to you about it?
No.
No. Well, because he knew. He
Yeah.
knew.
Well, he was like strictly drinking Muck and Duckies, and so triple sec didn't go in that, so he was fine.
We have to maybe try to recreate that one of these nights.
Yeah, so I actually asked my dad about it last weekend, and
Mm.
he said that my grandparents would drink pitchers of it. So it was just a Manhattan. It was their version of a Manhattan. He said that they would just literally take like a glass like this, fill it up with ice. He'd fill it up like, halfway or three-quarters way with bourbon. And then
Jesus
he put a
fucking
splash of
Christ.
vermouth. He put a splash of vermouth, a splash of like, maraschino cherry juice, some bitters, stirred up, and they drank them all day long, like sun up to
God damn.
sundown. And they would
Oh
make
shit.
pictures of them and just, get in arguments with the whole neighborhood. My dad said it was a really fun time.
Just fucking get out in the fucking street and start fights? Hell yeah.
No, they had people over all the time, and then they had a place in Florida, and like I remember all the neighbors in Florida were like big drinkers, and they would just like everyone would come over, like the neighbor from either side, and like you know, and we would stay there during spring break and stuff as a family, and he would just get into the meanest arguments with people. But Muck and Ducky, that's all it was. And I don't know why it was called that. My dad was like, that's just what they coined them. But he said they were just like, you know, crazy
Well,
drinkers.
future episode about bottomless bar. We'll do a muck and ducky. It sounds like we may only need one each.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then this whole fucking thing will be completely off the rails.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
well, I think, have we said everything we're going to say tonight?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, we've reached that point.
I got all my
Time.
stories out, all my recent experiences, all my stories, all my shit talking. I got it out. And that's why I
Yeah,
show up every week. So thanks for
yeah, to
listening.
vent, and that's exactly what Bottomless Bar is about. It's an opportunity for us to vent. Hopefully, someone out there got something from this. Let us know what you think about if you try a whiskey sour at home. Let us know what you think. Have it both ways. Have it with an egg white. Have it without. It's good both ways. Um, let us know what your underage drinking stories are. You know,
Yes,
what type
please.
of what type of budding criminal were you when you were when you were a younger person?
I
Uh,
know people from my youth are listening, so do me a solid and share your stories.
yeah, reach out to us at Bottomless Bar on Twitter and Instagram. Also, bottomlessbar.one at Gmail. Uh, thanks again to everyone for listening.
Check us out on
Thank you.
YouTube.
Oh shit, yeah. We now have a YouTube channel. If that's, YouTube, Bottomless Bar on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube if you're nasty. Um uh yeah, what else? That's it. This is Joe from Bottomless Bar. We have Joe,
Kara.
and also we're signing out. Episode 12.
Bye.